Welcome to 2509 Cedarwood, the future home of Red Cedar Zen community in the Birchwood neighborhood. We closed on the building in August, making this late November, right before Rahatsu. It's a two-story office building, about 3,800 square feet total. And we're planning to occupy the downstairs initially. Several projects have already happened while we carefully consider the big choices around how to remodel the space. There's an outdoor walkway. These beds were all English ivy. Had a couple volunteers clear this out and we're starting to sheet mulch it. The building's divided into two wings. To the left here, the east wing, and to the right, the west wing, with a central corridor, which you'll see. So let's go into the west wing. There's a room we'll see in a minute. Here's the current front door. Both of these large rooms in the wings were divided into multiple offices, but none of the walls dividing those offices were load-bearing, so we were able to hire the Restore to come in and tear them all out and process the waste responsibly. Happily, this could happen fairly quickly and affordably. And you'll see here in the front part of this entry room, there's a high ceiling, 16 feet high, and then the ceiling drops down. There's a low place here that's about a little under 8 feet. And then the joists here, I think, are a little over 9, but we have some heating ducts and stuff to figure out. But the exciting thing is that this west wing is already wide and large enough for quite a few possible uses. It's a candidate for the Zendo, and the other possibility is as a multi-purpose room, dining room, lounge and social space, library, place for classes like sewing, calligraphy, other Zen arts. This wall here is mostly load-bearing. It turned out to be more complicated, but we did leave this one office, which might be Dokusan room, potentially another option on a library. The main entrance might move to the middle of this wall is one possibility, to make an entryway with a little lobby and space for coats and shoes and a little better transition than the current door, which is sort of in this fairly awkward little corner that might become a closet instead, is one possibility. None of these are decided, they're all possibilities under discussion. So looking back at the west wing from the other side, so this is about 800 square feet, kind of a rectangle plus a trapezoid in shape. Then there's a central short hallway that connects east and west. We're leaving west and heading east. In that hallway are two bathrooms, which we believe to be already sized correctly for ADA accessibility. So we have two bathrooms down. And on the other side, another room that was the break room of the office building. And an advantage of that for us is there's the plumbing here for a sink. So this is an obvious candidate to be the kitchen. It's a small kitchen, smaller than almost all home kitchens, but larger than the tiny apartment kitchen we worked with at our Forest Street Zendo, our last location. There are some possibilities of opening up this wall into the west wing, pass through a doorway, no wall at all, to let the kitchen space or the kitchen workers who might be out in here at a table chopping vegetables interact a little more easily with the kitchen. A possibility. Then passing through our short hallway, we get to the other main doorway of the place. And here are the stairs to the upstairs, which is completely rented out by our tenant, Roy Lentz and Associates, accounting, and seem to have something to do with property ownership by Canadians, but that might be a rumor. And here's the other potential large space, the east wing, which as it stands is a bit of a shoebox. One leader called it a bowling alley because it's about 40 feet long, but only 12.5 feet wide inside. Possible Zendo, possible dining room, but again, the proportions have constrained it a bit. Some users and uses might involve sitting in a circle of chairs, and that circle couldn't be very big in a space this narrow. Maybe 12 people or 15 or something. And therefore, another idea under consideration, which is a more ambitious remodel option, is to demolish this wall and replace it with a new wall 10 feet further out into the parking lot. And that would make this into a nicely proportioned room, more like 22 feet wide than 12. And the end is angled, so 36 to 40 feet, depending on where you're measuring. Here's what that looks like from the outside. This whole bed that we just removed the ivy from and mulched, if the expanded east wing happens, would then become interior space. And there's some options around how this outside breezeway would become a new hallway, a new entrance, maybe another little mudroom space. That's really quite unclear, at least to me at this stage of the game. And so here's another view of the building. Just look around my trailer, upstairs and downstairs. And to complete our tour, coming around the back here, there is a little yard with a slope that leads down to Squalicum Parkway and then Squalicum Creek. And the current fence makes this backyard, which is the south-facing side of the building, so the bright and sunny, relatively, side of the building. We have a lot of noxious weeds here, more English ivy, German ivy, growing up the trees back here that we'll want to pull out. But a neat thing is we notice that the slope actually doesn't drop down for another, 5-8 feet down there. And so we could remove the lovely chain link fence, maybe have a different kind of security fence around it that's more attractive, and have a much more attractive yard and a more usable yard. And this is the back of the east wing. And one option is to put a deck along the back and a new exterior door or doors in the east wing, and then also over there in the west wing to access the deck, which also would make another way to move across the building besides just that narrow central hallway. So it's really an exciting thing, a big thing, a potentially complex thing depending on how you think about it. Probably a major builder wouldn't see our ambitions as too huge, but as a little Zen group, started in my living room in 1991 until moving up to a small room at Fairhaven Library. This is kind of amazing, kind of unbelievable that we are the owners of a building that will become a center, a temple, a place of practice, a place to share with the Bellingham community, a place on the network of Zen Buddhist practice spaces, up and down the West Coast. So thanks for watching, and hope to see you here practicing soon.